Good morning, everybody. Afternoon, that's right. Again, you know, depending on where you're at, morning, afternoon, later, evening, awesome. Hey, guys, hope you're doing fantastic today on this Tuesday. Wonderful day, guys. It is, of course, Tuesday, January the 29th, 2019, foul year of our Lord, guys. And it is cold. It is very, very cold here. It just will not stop snowing. You know, It seems that the fates and spirits have spoken, and we shall receive snow and nothing but snow, at least in the intermediate term for where I'm currently located. So, hope you guys are doing fantastic. Of course, it is an exciting day. Interesting day in the markets. Got some development, got some volatility. Good for scalping, good for short-term trading. We're going to get into directional positions and how I'm managing this here in just a second. Want to make some announcements, of course. If you guys are new to the channel, make sure to hit that subscribe button. That thumbs up really helps us. Appreciate it. Let's see here. So we are going to be doing, we got it all finalized starting February 1st at noon. So right when the show goes online on Friday, we're going to be starting the 2-week competition for the free month of premium trading group access giveaway. So it's pretty slick the way we got it all set up. I want to give a big shout out to Scott for working really hard on that. How it's going to work is just basically, kind of social media viral type stuff. You can follow our Discord, you can follow us on Facebook, follow our Twitter, blah, 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 blah. You get points for that. And the more points you have, the more chances you have to win, because it's going to be a random pick draw out of the hat, all done by the computer, all done by AI. It's going to be done through Gleam, so everything's got a pretty nice back end. So looking forward to that. That's going to be exciting. Looking forward to bringing some new members into the trading group and trading with them. All right, guys. So look forward to that again, February the 1st. We're going to run it for 2 months, or excuse me, we're going to run the competition for 2 weeks. At the end of 2 weeks, we're going to draw the winners live on the air, and you're in there like swimwear, guys. Let's see here. Going to have some people on the show later coming up. Not today, but over the next week or so, I've got some guests coming on, exciting stuff to talk about. And I'll keep that a little bit close to the vest for now because I'm personally excited about the people coming on. All right, guys. So how are you doing? I want to say hello to everybody in the chat. Jurgen, I see you, man. Jasper, thanks for joining, man. Top Hat, Ron Legato, Boston, Vegas, and So Bly. I see you, man. All right, good to go. Daniel Clerks, what's going on? Let it more to buy, Top Hat. All right, Podnuts, good to see you, man. Gabe Anderson. Ooh, we got to talk about the polar vortex right on. Somebody's been following Cliff High. Keeping things close to the chest this time. Hey, what's going on, Molly? Good to see you. Hey, Fox Trader, what's going on, man? Good to see you. Yeah, I hit you up in the DM. Hit me up whenever you got some time available, man. Be happy to talk to you. Crypto My Life, what's going on, man? All right, we're coffeeed up. Let's go to the charts. Make sure I got editor up, and I'm gonna have to pull this up as I normally do. There we go. Excellent, fantastic. All right, so here's what we're looking at for the good old XBT. Let's go to Bitcoin, of course, and look at the daily chart, see what I'm kind of keeping my eye on right here. So talked about this yesterday. I had drawn the support line at 33.80. Sorry, spot price, 33.80 for MEX, 33.90, 33.90 for spot price right here. So it's holding up so far nice and good. Not anything that I'm going to take a long position on. Again, not when we're moving downwards in the dominant trend, not going to counter trade the trend. Do need to see some nice positive movements, because really the premium that I'll pay with no anxiety is better if I get in a nice trend trading strategy. Now, what do you want to look for? What do you want to look for if you do want to take a long? Well, of course you can scalp. I mean, the people who entered here, they've been able to scalp quite nicely. It's okay. That's fine. Those are risky counter trend trading moves. That's fine if that's your strategy and you have a strategy for that. It's over 9,000. Hey, Kiss, thanks so much for the sub. But here's what I'm looking for. The traditional way that you want to see a nice bottom form in, the classical way that you want to wait for confirmation, is you do have to wait for the daily candle to close. You don't look at a candle that is most of the way through the day. We've got 5 hours and 51 minutes for the daily candle to close and scream, oh my God, it's a hammer candle. It's going to close as a hammer candle and we're going to get follow through. That's typically the wrong way to go about doing it. The way that you traditionally want to wait is wait for the candle to close and wait for the next candle to trade above the high of that candle. So what that means is that if the daily candle closes as a hammer and tomorrow's candle, well, really the candle that opens up at 6 p.m., depending on where you're located, that's fine. When that candle trades above the high of this candle, which is currently coming in at 34.38, then you can tentatively enter into a long. And traditionally, you set your stop below the low of the candle or below the close of the hammer candle or below the open of the candle that you're entering on. All metrics that you can take. That's the classical way to do it. And I think probably the safest way to do it. So if we go down, so here's the 24-hour chart. What do we see? Fisher Transform not oversold yet. We don't have the crossover. Of course, the crossover is going to be 1 bar of lag. So we get it 1 day late on the Fisher Transform, but that's fine, especially if you are catching a nice bottom. If we take a look at volume, which is mostly distracting, what do we see? Yeah, nothing super interesting. Not that significant oversold volume that I want to see either for really thinking that we're going to get a strong move off here. Now, anything is possible, but just the metrics that I traditionally look for. VPVR we've been looking at for a while. Of course, that's how I've established the support levels down here. Again, still my long-term play is to look at these two levels down here, 32.39 and 31.22 for my entry. Potentially even talking with Alex about restructuring for playing the actual play for liquidity down here. So as you can imagine, there's going to be a lot of liquidity in the order books right below the previous yearly low, below the low of Bitcoin as we've been trading in this range. There's going to be a lot of orders here, a lot of stop losses. So anybody that's buying in this range right here is going to be placing their stop losses directly below the yearly low, previous yearly low actually. And so there's going to be a lot of liquidity. Conversely, if you go over to the futures, if you go over the futures chart, let's go to the daily on that as well. There's also going to be a lot of sell orders, or excuse me, stop sell orders right in this area, attempting to sell into the breakdown. And I do think that's the wrong choice. Here's the thing, and I talked about this yesterday. So many people are comparing this to what we saw here. And the difference is time. The difference is time dilation, my friends. The difference is time. So I do not think that we've contracted enough to have a violent enough expansion that would propel us down to the long-term downturn targets, or the long-term downside targets, which if we go to the weekly chart on Bitcoin, we have talked about ad nauseum. Oh, still have yet to do this again, guys. If you've been following the stream for a while, you can see that originally I did have this charted out. So the key areas there on the weekly chart. Hey, Severin, thanks so much for the follow on Twitch, my friend. Is going to be that 886 Fibonacci retracement on the entire measure from the swing low to the swing high of the last bull rally, the last bullish rally. And that's going to bring us around 2331. Of course, the area of interest is actually quite wide on the daily chart. You have this, if you're charting this HVN as a support zone, as your entry zone, it actually ranges from around 2270 to around 2690, 2700 roughly. Now, that's a wide range to trade in for Bitcoin's volatility. But what that basically means for me anyways is that we wait and evaluate what happens when we go down there. Because again, when we see a bottom, when we do see that violent capitulation, it is very difficult to actually catch that movement. It typically happens very quickly over the course of an hour, maybe over the course of a day, if you're lucky enough. However, buying the actual absolute bottom, that takes place in about 15 minutes. So very, very difficult for humans to do. And again, I don't think that, at least my personal strategy, is not centered around capturing the absolute bottom. Now, when I can do that, like my scalping strategy, for example, VPSV, that does allow me to take advantage of volatile wicks. All right. So that's basically how I do my short-term scalp trading. However, the point that I've been making that I want to continue to make is that the way that I've been able to grow my portfolio over several years is not actually through scalping. That's fun. That allows me to rack up daily profit, allows me to stay sharp, allows me to grow my skills. It allows me to offer that and explain that to other people as part of my webinar course. However, what has drastically increased my account balance and allowed me to do this without having to pull funds from my trading balance to live off of. Well, that's more related to my money management and my other avenues of income. But what has allowed me to grow my portfolio sustainably is catching long-term trends and trend following strategies. So that's why when you're looking at these big movements, the overall strategy has not changed. Going down to Bitcoin on the daily chart. Now let's just get in here and remove this stuff so we're not distracted. All right, and what do we see? We've got a range-bound market between 3K and 4K, which means you play the range. What's the more profitable trade? Trying to capture, one of these intraday daily movements, which is fine. I'm not, banging on you if you do, because we do that in the trading group all the time. But you have to think long term. So what's the better strategy? What's the better position? Attempting to catch the support level and taking that trade back up to 4K for a retest of resistance, or at least 3.8K, which would be a retest of the resistance trend line. And then putting on your shorts in that area for the retest of 3K. It's fairly simple. You take the trade that has the longest term potential, the highest R, and it takes guts to really put that trade on. It takes guts when you're up here in these levels to put on your short, because, everybody's screaming for bullish, everybody's screaming for 5K. And down here, it's going to take a lot of guts to put on that long position, because we're going to be down at the bottom. Your psychology is going to tell you, oh my God, we're going to break down. We're going to 2.5K. They were, all the FUD screamers were right. And here's what you have to accept as a trader, is that anything can happen, is that you don't have control over the markets. All you can do is pick your entries and exits, and the market is going to determine if you're profitable or not. And you have to be willing to accept that lack of control, that chaotic environment, You have to accept that powerlessness. And all you can do is do your best as a trader, as a strategist, as an analyst to find the best areas in the market where the odds are, to the best of your ability, stacked in your favor. That's why, as I've said many times, the important levels that I look for are key areas on the daily chart, on the weekly chart, of horizontal support and resistance, confirmed by the volume profile, which lets me know that volume is actually indicative at that level. And finding a key area of horizontal support and resistance, there's a few tricks. One thing that I do want to start pointing out is if you turn off bars and you turn on the line chart, it's going to help you establish that horizontal support and resistance, in my opinion, much easier because it's going to take out the noise of the wicks. Now, is that going to affect your ability if you're strategizing for wicks? Yes, it is. But overall, when you're looking at catching a big movement, it's going to be sufficient, and it's also going to help relieve your anxiety and just in general make things a whole lot easier to look at. All right, let's see here. Okay, so not putting on any long positions at this point in time. Not looking to take on any long positions at this point in time, but I'm going to wait and see how this develops before I put on new short positions. About 50% of the short positions taking profits on the trades, and then looking to stop set at break even on the other half of the portfolio. Stop loss set at break even on the other 50%. Now, depending on how things develop, I might set that to a trailing stop if I assume that things will continue to go down. But I probably I'm not going to be adding to my position at this lower level. I don't short the bottoms, especially, again, I don't short the bottoms when I do see candlestick formations like this. So we've got the support level. I'm not ruling out the potential that we're going to see a little bit of a bounce up here. But again, I'm not going to be excited for any movement up here until we're able to break this range resistance that's coming at 36.20. So that's a long way. That's a long way to wait for a confirmed entry to the upside. And then again, where you have to set your RR, because again, your target has to be your first point of resistance. Your target has to be your first area of resistance. So you've got this descending trend line coming in that has been acting as resistance in this trading range. Do you target that, or do you target more generally the resistance zone formed by the weekly equilibrium block that we've talked ad nauseum about? Again, just for those of you who are coming into the stream, what we do have is a dominant downtrend to the downside, and then we have 1 week of indecision where the bulls sense weakness in the bears, where demand senses weakness in supply. So what do? They tap against that. They tap, tap, tap. If any of you guys are friends of 9 Inch Nails or perhaps the Little Baby Bum, tap, tap, tap. For those in the audience with small children, you know what I'm talking about. That stuff is stuck in my mind. But overall, when the weekly candle is bearish, I don't look to put on longs. When the weekly candle is bullish, I don't look to put on shorts. It helps. I find that helps alleviate your stress and anxiety a little bit. Oh my God, there goes the phone blowing up. Scott, we've got to figure this thing out. Okay, let's see here. All right, so let's get back into the daily chart here. Yeah, so nothing to talk about. Here's what I'm watching for. Waiting for the daily candle to close, see if we do respect this bullish formation, see if the daily candle close does actually support this respect level, formed by the volume profile, formed by that high volume node, the highest node in that particular HVN. If that does happen, we can potentially see a bounce back up here to retest resistance, or at least the lows. So again, let's flip on that line chart. At least the lows, 3,500, 3,525. 36.20 would kind of be your like moonshot target if you wanted to try to take an oversold long scalp. However, not the trade I'm going to take. Fisher transform is not giving me the signal that I need to enter. Again, I can't even consider it until the daily candle closes with respect to the support line, and until we trade above the daily open on this candle. It's the simplest way to put that. I wait for confirmation because I like to be conservative about my trades. I don't throw my money down the tubes on the first bullish sign that I see, especially when I'm trading against the dominant trend. All right, so ATR quite low, and that's interesting to me. So if we look at ATR, measure of volatility, what this means is that we're moving down on low volatility. And what that means is with price contraction, you expect to see expansion. Now, this candle is not priced in, and this candle just got priced in. So this is a 14-day lagging span. So it's measuring the volatility of the past 14 days. So it takes a while for it to catch up. But generally, ATR can be used as an indication of volatility. So one traditional thing. Oh, yeah, man. Turn on do not disturb mode with the loud contacts of mom, dad, and me. That's a good idea. That's a good idea. I'm going to do that. So as I talked about yesterday, when you're looking at where do you want to enter on levels of support and resistance? How can you look for additional confirmation to help you try to weasel out whether support is going to hold or not? And one thing that I say is, or that I follow is, when you approach support or resistance on high volatility, and you have something like a blow off top movement, so a big volume spike, a big movement towards support or resistance, generally that resistance level is not going to hold. Or excuse me, let me make sure I'm explaining this correctly. When you see a high volatility movement, and what does high volatility mean? It means big candles, big volume, big markup, big markdown. So, excuse me, guys. Sorry. So we're approaching resistance here on high volatility, big volume. It's not a slow, steady crawl. It's not a slow, steady crawl. Compare this run up to resistance with this walk down to support right here. All right, so we had support right here. After we had put in this bottom, we got a nice little relief rally, putting in our first level of resistance right here, forming this weekly equilibrium block. So this is the weekly equilibrium block right here that we formed. So if we go to the weekly time frame, we can see that quite clearly. That's right there. Here it is actually is on the daily chart. Here's what we're looking at right there. That's the weekly equilibrium block. And we approach it on high volatility, on high volume. And so for that reason, the support doesn't hold, because that means that buyers are too exuberant. You have longs piling in at the top. You have buyers piling in at the top, and it's not a sign of strength to see a movement toward resistance on high volatility. It's actually a sign of weakness, because it means that, and sorry to be crude, but it means that buyers are blowing their wad before they've reached the critical level, where now they need to do the buying to continue the bullish movement through resistance. It means that they're irrationally anticipating a potential breakout, and the buyers are all piling in prior to the area where they need to pile in above support, or excuse me, above resistance, to continue pulling that in. And then the FOMO comes and everybody starts piling in, then you get markup. So approaches to resistance on high volatility are more often than not rejection. So that's one thing that I look at. And how can you use ATR to determine that? Well, ATR, if you're approaching resistance on high volatility, so ATR is a measure of volatility, and you can find ATR by simply opening up indicators. Just type in search ATR, average true range is right there. I do use a custom average true range script that was programmed for me. It's not super special, just does a couple things that I want it to. I'm looking at it in its basic feature right now. It also lets me use ATR on SAT coins, so I can look at any altcoin, and if I pull open my data window, I can actually see ATR instead of if you just use normal ATR, like here's Zilliqa, for example. Here's Zilliqa, for example, and ATR is actually displaying me what the average true range is. If you try to do this with normal ATR, it's not going to show you, because it only goes down to 4 or 5 decimal places, the default one. So, anyways, so hey, Wally, thanks so much, man. Hey, thanks for the $9.99, my good friend. And you know what? I'm super happy to have you in the group, man. Thank you so much for your glowing recommendation. Thank you, man. Thank you. You are one of the good ones. Got to read it, man. He says, shout out to Kraken Crypto's premium group I joined recently. The content is superb, highly recommended. Learn, earn, and don't get burned, guys. That's the content, man. Learn, earn, and don't get burned. I like that, man. Wally, I hope you have that trademarked, because that might go down. That might go down in the bottom right-hand corner of the screen. I'll give you the, it'll just say, learn, earn, don't get burned, /GBU Professor Wally, Gunbot University. Highly appreciate it, man. Thank you, brother. Let's see here. Okay, so if you're approaching resistance on high volatility, so you can look at ATR when volatility is high, the oscillator is high. When volatility is low, the oscillator is low. So you can see here that every time we approach resistance, we're on fairly high volatility. We see a spike in volatility. And every time we approach support and volatility is decreasing, we break through support. And you'll see the same thing if you look for breakouts. So here's a good example. Here we're approaching resistance here. Let's zoom in and see this. So hopefully you guys can see ATR well here. So as you can see, We're marking up. Price is increasing in value, but what's happening to volatility? Volatility is declining. Volatility is declining. And then we approach resistance right here. We approach daily resistance, which is our breakout point right here, established right here by our daily highs. We're approaching it on low volatility. And then only when we actually reach that level of level of resistance do we get a spike in volatility. And now that's a positive sign of a bullish breakout. When you're approaching resistance, volatility is decreasing, volume is decreasing. That is actually a positive sign. That's actually a positive sign that the breakout does have potential to actualize. Alternatively, when you're approaching resistance or support on high volatility, you're likely to see a movement in the opposite direction. So when you're approaching support on low volatility, it is not a sign of strength. It's not a sign of strength because a high volatility movement down to support indicates irrational exuberance to the sellers. It means the sellers have piled in. They've likely, it likely means that all short-term sellers have exhausted their supply of selling. All potential sellers have already sold. Everybody that wants to sell has already sold, and they've done it en masse. And what follows that? Markup, at least a bounce. So this is why it takes guts to do this. It takes guts to do this, but ideally, if you're looking to counter trend trade, what you want to do is look for high volatility movements down to a level of support. That's when you want to be doing your buying. When you want to be doing your selling is when you see high volatility movements up to resistance. That's when you want to be doing your selling. All right. So you have to sell on big green candles. You have to buy on big buy on big red candles, black on my chart. And the reason for that, hopefully I've explained that, because volatility is a measure of the strength of the movement. So if you are in a long position and you're approaching resistance on low volatility, generally a good sign to hold on. When you're approaching support on low volatility and you're in a short position, generally a good sign to hold on to your position. Okay. So that's the thing. That's what we're looking at. BTC on the daily chart. Going to wait for the daily candle to close. If we trade above this, we could potentially take a long scalp to the 3,500, maybe 3,620. But that's not the trade I'm going to take. I'm not going to counter trend trade this dominant trade. My position still stands as is. Buy order set in this range right here. I'm going to be accumulating this zone. I'm even going to potentially accumulate down here. Now, what I'm looking for is high volatility. I'm looking for a high volatility movement down below support. All right. That's what I'm looking for. If we see that, if we see a high volatility move down towards support, I'll be very optimistic about buying my position, about buying my breakout, or excuse me, about buying my reversal pattern. If we see a slow crawl down towards support, then my opinion starts to change. Then my opinion starts to become negative. So again, it doesn't just horizontal support and resistance is key in and of itself. But what's more important for determining a position, for determining a trade, is going to be the manner in which price approaches support and resistance. So keep that in mind when you're looking at your potential setups and trades. All right, let's go to Ethereum. And again, we are charting on the Tether US. Now, here's the thing. As I was falling asleep last night, I noticed that the altcoins were making a bit of a rally, making a little bit of a movement off the lows. And they were leading the charge. And this is why I knew XBT was going to mark up just a little bit from there, from the lows. And that's why I actually posted to the members. I'm like, hey, guys, we're looking like we're going to take another leg down. But do not enter right here because we're at the bottom. We're going to get a bounce off of this because I can already see the alts are rallying. The alts are pulling up. Now, what I saw, if we go down to the lower time frames, you can actually see this is basically where I went to bed. I saw this movement right here, right? I saw this movement right here. And typically what I would normally do is I'd be like, all right, cool. We pull back a little bit. Let's go. But we had this high volatility movement downwards. All right. We had a nice high volatility movement downwards. So I was expecting the bounce to be a little bit more significant now. And it was. And that's why, I cautioned everybody. I'm like, do not try to short right here, guys. Don't try to short right here. We're going to get a little bit of a reaction off of this. And you can already see when you're expecting what direction XBT is going to go, look toward the alts, look toward the alts in the lower time frames. Look at your Ethereum and look at your Ripple, because you can see that. Look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin has been more sluggish, has been much more sluggish on its movement back upwards. But you can actually see, especially if if you're looking at here. So I'll show you kind of like what I fall asleep to. Is something like this. So we pull up in the 30, and the 30 is open there, 30 is open there, 30 is open there. Good. So hopefully you can see this. So I was seeing the alts make their movement upwards. The alts make their movement upwards while Bitcoin was very, very sluggish with it. You can see the sluggishness of Bitcoin, the lack of momentum in Bitcoin. That's because it's a slow, heavy hitter, man. When Bitcoin moves, it moves fast, but it's going to follow. I mean, this is a leading indicator of a little bit of markup. So just a nugget to throw out there, something to keep in mind, guys. All right, so let's see here. Okay, going to the Ethereum tether. Basically, I mean, whenever I feel like a broken record. Whenever I describe my TA on XBT, I'm going to be talking about my TA on Ethereum now, because they're quite identical as far as market movements go. So in this support level right here, we have these two HVNs right here that I had actually talked about yesterday. I said we've got the level 108, 104, 103.68. This is going to be your range if you're trying to take a trade back up to the point of control. Point of control coming in at 116.55. And what do we see? We see a little bit of bullish reaction on this movement. We get a nice high volatility movement down to support on this candle right here, and now putting in a daily indecision candle. Now, it's hard to get excited about this for me. Because we haven't actually put in any sign of bullishness. However, this is a key level. So if you're looking at Ethereum on being a leading indicator for Bitcoin, again, let's see here. So the TA is going to be a little bit different. The candle formations look a little bit different, a little bit more sell pressure, a little bit more indecision coming in from Ethereum. But Bitcoin at that level of support, Ethereum at that level of support. So the option for that speculative long scalp trade is not off the table. Now, I'm not going to be taking that trade. I'm going to be patient, and I'm going to wait for price to be above the point of control, to be above a moving average, to be above a level of resistance before I look to take a long. But the opportunity is not off the table. If you want to be a knife catcher, if you want to take that long scalp, it's not a bad setup. I'm not going to call anybody stupid who says, hey, we're at a level of support, put in a nice high volatility movement down. Let's see where this goes. Not the gamble that I like to take, especially in this current market, but that's totally fine. I'm not going to chide anybody for attempting to take that setup. I mean, it takes money to make money, man. You got to spend money to make money, and to make money, to spend money, you got to put your money in the market. You got to put risk, because if you don't execute on anything, then you're not going to you can't make any profit. You need to paper trade, and you need to take your time and sit on the sidelines and sit on your hands a lot of times. I mean, that's the most difficult part about trading, just sitting on your dang hands. Personally, I mean, that took me a long time to just get comfortable with doing that. That's why I like books. That's why I like working on my indicators, is because price will come in, maybe I'll start to doubt my position, and then I just stop. So when I enter a trade, I have my entry, exit, and take profit. My entry, my stop loss, and my take profit. And then I have a plan. If price does this, I'll do this. If price does this, I'll do this. Just two plans, just two scenarios. How low does price have to go for me to think that my idea is invalidated? And at one objective level, no questions asked, I will exit my trade at a loss. If price goes up to my take profit level, I'll have two scenarios. What do I need to see to just move my stop loss up? And what do I need to see to just take profit? I set objective standards for my trades, and when those qualifications have been met, I execute. I do not allow myself to sit here and think and hem and haw and look at the chart and be like, well, maybe if it touches this, and well, hold on, let me pull open Bukowski's Encyclopedia Chart Patterns. Well, hold on, I've been doing my research on Investopedia, and it says, no, dude, none of that. It doesn't matter whether you have a lot of experience charting, whether you have a lot of experience with technical analysis. This is a core fundamental for trading. When you strategize your plan, you want to know where are you going to enter, where are you going to take a loss, where are you going to take your profit, and then just write it down on a piece of paper. Like, make a promise with yourself that if price reaches this level, this is what I'm going to do, and you make yourself do that. The reason that you need to make yourself do that is because the game of trading is it's a martingale game. It's a game of odds. It's a game. It's not a sprint. It's not a race. It's a marathon. All right. It's just like playing poker, man. As long as you don't bankrupt yourself, you can continue to play the game. And as long as you can continue to play the game, you can catch a big winner and inflate your account balance. That's the point. That's the game we're playing. The game is a game of attrition. The market will attempt to bleed you slowly, right? If you're not stupid enough to allow your account balance to be blown out by taking on too large of a position size, by using incorrect risk management, by not adjusting your position size, according to your stop loss. So for example, there are times like altcoins, they're volatile, all right? I'll set stop losses on altcoins 10, 15% away. I will, all right? But what does that mean? It means I'm trading a much smaller position size so that if I lose, what I lose is a normal loss for me, okay? So again, if you're trading with a $5,000 account balance and you're using a 3% risk, for example, you're going to lose $300 per trade. You don't look at an altcoin and say, oh man, the only place I can put my stop's like 15% away. Okay, all right, cool. Adjust your position size accordingly, all right? I've been doing, we've been playing altcoins for a long time, okay? And it's not a bad approach. Having a tight stop on an altcoin is okay if you're day trading on the 30-minute, on the 1 hour. But the better profit to be made with altcoins is letting those big moves expand themselves out. And they generally happen quickly. You do need to have your alerts set. That's why you got to be looking at key levels. Where are your resistances? Where are your fib extensions? Whatever method that you want to use to take profit. But once price gets there, don't hesitate. Don't question it. Just execute. Just execute. Take your money off the table and pat yourself on the back for a successfully completed trade. Or you can do what I see a lot of people do. And now I'm not saying that you need to set 10%, 15% stop losses on altcoins. That's not what I'm saying. What I am saying is that, in my opinion, I think that really, really tight stop losses with large position sizes on altcoins, I think that's for the birds, man. I think that's for the birds. I think that right now in this market, if you're playing altcoins and you're not an investor, you're not looking to accumulate the lows, which is okay. It's not my strategy. I'm a trader, but the only thing, again, personally, the only thing that I'm invested in is Bitcoin, right? Now, that's not to say that I don't have holdings, but the holdings that I've received are trophies from previous trades. So typically when I have a successful trade, I'll keep like a 1% trophy. So that means that I've just stacked up trophies over time, all right? I've taken my profit on the trade. I've let 1% of my position just sit in my account balance. And slowly over time, that can grow into a little bit of a portfolio, just a little bit of passive income. Just like, kind of throwing, like, say, bank your change is a good example, right? So I have a program at my bank. Every time I make a payment, it rounds up the pennies and throws them into my CD. It's slow, passive investment, whatever. The interest kills me. I pull the profit out, every couple of years and put it in my IRA. But the point is that it's just a way for you to tuck money away, and ideally put it into something that can evaluate. All right, it's just money management approaches to managing your money, guys. So that's one good strategy: is take 1% trophy off every trade. And throw that in cold storage. Throw that in your investment bag. You can do that with cryptocurrency. It's pretty nice. It's pretty sweet. All right. Dun 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 dun. All right. Let me see where I want to go next. Okay, so we got to talk about ZERP. Again, ZERP. Everything looking kind of the same right now. Putting in a nice bottom. So here's ZERP on Binance. Just look at that. Big, huge congratulations. And listen, I muddied this up. Not terribly. And I want to thank Alex for mitigating that, because when we, again, we had a fantastic entry. And again, I'm looking at spot price. So just, remember, I'll move over to the H19 chart if you want. Actually, it's going to be over here. Let me just make sure this didn't get deleted. So I'll show you guys. Yeah, so this was the setup on XRP H19. This is where Alex got us in. Alex got us in here. Alex got us in the short here. Okay, Alex got us in the short here. And again, what was our initial entry? 9,600, 9,650. Yep, or 9,550, 9,650. Okay, so this range right here we got in. We had an average entry in this zone right here. Fantastic entry from Alex. Awesome dude. And then when we came down here, I had tightened up my stop loss to this area, got wicked on it, so I had to re-enter. I had to re-enter, and I know some of the traders got wicked out too. But some of you guys have been learning in the group. You guys are awesome and fantastic and have learned what I've talked about, using mental stops instead of hard stops. I had set a hard stop because I was going to sleep, And again, we were approaching support. I wasn't exactly sure what the market was going to do, but some of you held in, and you're lucky because you're in Europe when we were going through that volatile period. And you used the mental stop strategy. Price didn't close above it on a 30-minute or a 4-hour. Price continued to go down, and you guys are gangbusters profits right now. All right, so bam, bam, bam. Looking at XRP, I mean, what do you want me to say, man? So this is the futures. Let's go look at spot. Let's go look at XRP. So hitting that first level of support that I was talking about, we do have this first point of control right here. Let's see if it holds. All right, we wicked down pretty volatilely below it. Let's look at ATR and see what's going on here, just so I can stay consistent with what I'm trying to tell you guys. All right, so look at that. Low volatility approach to support. 9 times out of 10 means it's not going to hold. 9 times out of 10 means that it's not going to hold. Now, I do think that the alts are going to put in, I think that the entire market is going to put in a little bit of a bounce here, just based off the big sell-off, just in numbers of percentages. Nice big sell-off. We're going to get a little bit of a rally. And what happens over the next couple days is going to determine how this continues to go. Again, that's why I said when we go back to the BTC chart, let's go back to the BTC chart. So here's the daily. All right, now, we've had a nice movement back down. If we see this on BitMEX as well, I'll show you guys that descending trend line. Right. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 touches on this descending trend line. And what I'm looking to see right now is does this act as resistance on the retest? Does this act as resistance on the retest, or is this broken through? If this is broken through and everything rallies a little bit, I'm not putting on any longs until we get back up here to the 3,500 level, which is previous support, which might turn resistance, or back up to that 3,620, just looking at spot price. So looking at Bitcoin as the leading indicator on everything. Lost my train of thought. All right, guys.
It's over 9,000.
So yeah, okay. So support levels, good places to take profits, move your stops into profit. And we'll just see what happens, guys. We're going to see a little bit of a bounce here. We're going to see a little bit of a bounce. We're going to see if it's sustainable. Again, in the downturn right here, looks like we put in on Ripples, or excuse me, on ZERP particularly, looks like we put in some significant local tops, right? Lost the daily momentum. Let's actually, one thing that I do want to look at here is, thank you very much, sir. I want to see where our hundies are coming in and our 2 hundies. See if I can get any confluence on that. Okay, so this was the first reason that I was a little bit scaredy on the ZERP short, because we were coming up on the 100 simples and the 100 exponentials in this level of support where we had wicked down to, as you can see right here. Just blew right through them like a hot knife through butter as Bitcoin turned down. Now coming up on the first level of support, again, slight bounce of this. Again, we'll just see what happens over the next couple days to see if I'm gonna reposition my short. Again, just tightening everything up, taking about 50% profits, moving my stops up into my trailing stops up into profit. Just the way that we do. You just move the market down as you go. Coming up on the 200 exponential and this primary zone of support. So previous resistance, the next high volume node area right here. So this is the level that we would expect to hold. Again, this is our next level of support. 82.29, 79.56, just this range right here. If that breaks, guys, look, we've got the 200 simple coming in down here toward the bottom of this movement, this previous consolidation zone right here, and that's coming in at 71.83. So if we want that number in, let's look at ZERP USDT. Okay, so we're not going to be able to get those numbers, so we're going to have to go to ZERP USD on Finex. There we go. ZERP USD on Finex is actually a little bit more negative. So we've got this descending channel, as we can see here on this particular chart, and we've got these yearly lows right down here at 25 cents, 24.25 cents. That's the next volume. That's the next high volume node. I like Dutch. Can't speak it. Gotcha. Yeah, the terms and conditions on Binance says you must be 18. All right, guys, give me... I got to go grab some water. I'm going to be back in about 30 seconds. I'll be right back, and we're going to finish our analysis. I'm going to engage with the chat, and we're going to look at some requests, guys, as well as a few data metrics that I think are very important, man. So give me about 30 seconds to a minute. We'll be right back, guys. All right, guys. Thanks for sticking in, man. Had to go get some water. I was getting parched. This cold weather is killing it's killing everything. It's annihilating everything. All right, guys. So let's one last thing I want to talk about real quick. Here on the big boys is this kind of reaction right here. So we have this descending trend line right here acting as current resistance. So this is kind of the area that I'm keeping my eye on here on the lower time frames, looking for how I want to play the day out. Again, this doesn't change anything about my long-term positions, because again, the more profitable positions are going to be your long-term trades. Let's take that volume off of there. Okay, good. Just distraction, just price action. That's all we need, guys. Just price action. All right, descending trend line acting as resistance. You get a little bit of, Bitcoin pokes its head above here and then just crashes right back down, forms a new low. So overall, been unable to make a higher high on the lower time frame. So what do I need to see for me to cover my shorts fully? Is I need to see a higher high on the lower time frames, and then I need to see that confirmed on something like the 4-hour chart. I need to see that close above there as well, and then I'll be looking to cover. And then I'll just look for reentry later on. Again, not looking to take the long, but just looking to cover and looking to look for a higher entry for my short position. Excuse me. All right. So same thing on pretty much all the others as well. I'm just looking at this as a leading indicator for what all the other alts are going to do. Just looking at Bitcoin. Now, while Bitcoin is doing its little stutter steps right here, we can look at opportunities in other coins. And so how do I put this? So basically looking for potential altcoin trades, and I posted two actually this morning, two of my trades in the members group. For the subscribers. So 2 coins that I'm looking to act as a hedge. So looking to cover my shorts potentially if price valuates here a little bit more. And if we actually are able to form a higher high and put in a little bit of sign of strength. And I'll be looking to throw in some hedges on altcoins because they're going to evaluate. If the market's going to move up a little bit, where's the highest volatility going to be? Well, it's going to be from the altcoins. So looking to throw on a few Binance trades to hedge against my potential coverings and looking to short the market at a higher level. So fairly simple. I don't speak Dutch. I understand a little bit of it. They were talking about, can you start trading when you're 16? He said, no, you got to be 18 if you read the terms of service. Then they were talking about valuation back and forth between Bitcoin and Euro. All right, so let's see here. Scott reluctantly crouched at the starting line, engines pumping and thumping in time. It's good, man. I love that song. All right, let's see here. Good morning to all of you guys. Negative 50 degrees. Jesus. Sanjeev, good morning to you, man. Moritz, guten Abend from Germany, man. Good to see you, man. Von Deutschland. Hey, what's going on, Mr. Ether? Your money's on the relief rally. Right on, man. Let's see here. Kyle Mitchell, hey, good to see you, man. Mohit Gandatra, where is the Bitcoin bottom? This is not to be sarcastic, but just in the general sense, the Bitcoin bottom is going to be when all sellers have been exhausted, when every last potential seller is already sold and sellers have exhausted their supply, when supply has been completely exhausted. In my personal opinion, I think that the most likely scenario for that is going to be around 2331. Now, eventually, when do we get there? I can't give you, I don't have a crystal ball. I just feel fairly strongly about that, looking at the technicals of the chart and my experience in this market. I think that we do need one more violent stab back down for capitulation. I don't think it's going to happen now. Again, I'm looking to take the long from those lower areas. The key support levels, high volume profile. Yeah. Jayton, hey, no problem, man. Thank you so much. Glad you got in on that TRX. Rick Schmitz, what's going on, man? Sachin Umrani, how to use the ATR. Hopefully that explanation I gave earlier helped. Boston Vegas, good to see you, my friend. Donnie Don says, dump my whole holding into Tether when we broke down from 6K. Now the volatility of some coins tokens bringing some gains, but at what point do I go back into my hodling? I think, and this is just my personal opinion, I go back into my hodling when we approach that 2331 level. For altcoins, a little bit different because I think that altcoins are going to be some good performers here in February and March. But as far as the big dogs, again, I'm waiting. If we just go to the weekly time frame, waiting for the weekly time frame. Let's go to good old Bitcoin. Just as I said, man. Weekly time frame, longer time frames, range bound between 3K and 4K. Let's turn that volume off because it's a distraction. All we need is price action. Getting a weekly open and close above this level. Going to be taking this bad boy up to 5,500, potentially 6K. And we'll see what happens from there. If you want the safest, like no way, no worries about it bet, is if you close a weekly candle, if you open and close a weekly candle above 6K, we're doing some serious things. I would be very, 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 the bottom is in at that point. Now, when we get the weekly opening, when we get the close above current 4,000 levels, then I get excited. Then I get excited for at least that relief rally to 5,500, 6,000 potentially. But then we just have to wait. Do we break through? What's the volatility look like? What is the nature of us approaching resistance? Those are the key things to be looking out for. Holochain is the future. Yes, the future of a dump incoming. Daniel De Leon says, I know it's still bearish for XLM, but it's a very tempting buy. How low can it go for a possible reversal? You know, I like XLM. I like XLM quite a lot. Let's go take a look at Mr. XLM. All right. XLM, how low can you go? Yep, so basically congruent with what I've been saying here for a while. So weekly time frame on Binance. I was saying that we're in that attractive area now. XLM has held up quite well. Range-bound trading pretty much while the entire market was dumping, holding this nice tight range inside the volume profile. As you can see here, we basically have the value area. This is 70% of all volume traded, looking at the entire XLM market right here. And it's just stayed nicely tight in this range. Now, breaking down. Now, how low can it go? We don't know, man. We don't know. We do have our next key area of support, honestly, coming in right down here around 1589 sats. So looking at the potential for another 30% down on XLM if this actuates all the time. You can see we broke down below the point of control, and every time we broke down below the point of control previously, this one would have worried you. But we didn't have as much trading knowledge as we do now, because now we've had this nice range to really firmly establish this point of control. And what's important about this point of control? How was this point of control formed? Point of control, remember, is measuring the area in the market, the horizontal price level where the most trading activity was taking place. So how was this formed? Well, you have aggressive initiation here. So here initially, when XLM first started pumping all the way back in January of 2018, you just had a ton of buying. You had a ton of buying occurring at this level. You know, let's actually, where can we get a little bit more market information? If we go look at, yeah, Finex isn't going to get, yeah, because XLM is still relatively new. We're just not going to be able to get better information on it than Binance, honestly. So you do have this violent rejection area right here. So that's coming in at 2140 sats, just this tight range right here. Remember, when you're drawing horizontal support and resistance, you're drawing with a crayon and not a fine tip marker. People who draw support and resistance with a fine tip marker, it doesn't tend to work out for them. If price closes 1 sat below this level, I'm out. That's my stop loss. No. These are altcoins, man. Highly volatile. ATR. It's average true range telling us. Again, moving down on low volatility. Again, we are pricing in this low volatility right here. But if you just overall look, you know, we've had declining volatility. This is what ATR is telling us. We're not getting any signs of reversal in volatility here. But again, look, we're looking at the weekly. So let's look at something like the 24-hour. Okay, looking at the 24-hour. Looking at the daily. Now, looking at the daily, we do got the Fisher super oversold. And the last time we were this oversold on the daily, we did put in a nice little bit of a bounce. Actually, every time we've been that oversold on the Fisher, we put in a nice little bounce, except for this level right here. We put in a little bit, but that was a really quick trade. That was a 2-day trade, as opposed to these, which were genuine multi-week rallies. But again, so what do I got to see, man? I got to see the exact same metrics, the exact same qualifications that I listed for Bitcoin. Candle's got to close. The daily candle has to close, and we got to trade above its high. All right? That's it. It's that simple. And really, I mean, to be quite honest with you, I mean, it would be nice to be able to get above the 21. Can we get above the 21 EMA? Just anything? Can we get back up in the value area? Can we get back up above the point of control? If we can get back above if we can get back above the point of control, then we start to get pretty bullish about XLM. Now, that's a long ways away, guys. It's a long ways away. But the premium, because that's 27% up. Oh my God, Justin, we're missing out on 27%. We need to catch a knife now. No, you don't. No, you don't. You can take the safe trade. I mean, just study traditional trend. Again, I'm not like singling you out, man, like saying you're stupid or anything. No, I'm speaking generally. I mean, just study trend trading strategies, man. You know, just, you know, read Market Wizards, man. Read just patience. Patience equals profits. Patience and discipline equal profit. Personal responsibility is the new counterculture. Shout out to Paul Joseph Watson. All right, so yeah, the next level of support I got coming in on the chart, man, 2140, 1589 is your next high volume node down there. So again, you can look at that daily. Looking at the daily, you do got the Fisher transform giving you the oversold. Let's try something out. Going back to my old days of classical charting. So this is how I used to trade just off pitchforks and a momentum oscillator when I really started. This is how I traded. This is how I traded in Forex before I graduated to understanding volume profile. But I've been playing with these a little bit more because when you're looking at these longer term movements, they're very, very helpful. If you guys don't know anything about pitchforks, I do have an educational video on them, understanding how to use pitchforks, how to create them, how to draw them, what to look for. So look where we're getting that. If we look at this, where is the intersection of this quartet, which has been respected? You can see how price has respected this level. You can really see where pretty much all these quartets have been well respected. The scary thing about this is that price likes to return to the median line. That would be bringing us way down to get to the median line. So at some point, whenever we get the reversal, we have to redraw this to the upside and look at we have to potentially look at a bullish pitchfork, but we don't have any reason to be doing that right now. But we do see the intersection of that quartet, this quartet right here, with the support line coming in at 2149, 2140. So set an alert for this level. Keep your eyes on that level. Otherwise, in the short term, my good friend, you can look just kind of as I'm looking at all alts right now. Wait for the daily candle to close, get a little bit of bullish reaction, and then look for the daily to actually trade above the high. And then you can be at least looking to target your EMAs right here, or you've also got a high volume node come in there around 2741. So at least a short term bounce. But this is not one of the ones where I'm going to be putting on just because the price is low. Again, let's look at something besides just the fact that our momentum oscillator is oversold. Let's get rid of our EMAs. Let's get rid of volume profile too. I want to look at volume, and I want to look at ATR. So breakdown below support. So what do we see here? Let's look. So where's the volume spike? The volume spike's right here. So do you see we get that nice big spike in bearish volume right there? As we're breaking down below support, that's indicative of breakdown volume to me. So now that we've broken down from this tight price contraction and we've expanded to the downside, I would like to see a blowout bottom, which means a big candle, big volatile spike in momentum, just as like I'm talking about. When you're approaching support, it's the nature of approaching support. Approaching support on low volatility, approaching support on low volume is not bullish. God damn. Approaching support on high volatility and high volume, that sign of capitulation, that sign of a local bottom. I don't see that yet. So the only other metric that I can go off of is based on price action. If we get this daily candle closed, price trades above the daily open, or excuse me, the daily open to the daily high. Depends on how aggressive or conservative you want to be. Yeah, no other metric for entering into a position then. Got to wait for confirmation. You can't just go off the momentum oscillator is oversold. I bet you the RSI is too as well. Jasper says, I've got a solution for your phone. Smack it with a phone, or smack it with a hammer, or throw it against the wall. That will fix it. No, this is the nicest phone I've ever owned. My good friend Scott gave it to me. Quinn, I'll take a look at NEM and Mana. Wally says, can you go over BitMEX, testnet, and paper trading a little more? Okay, so I'll tell you the way that I paper trade. And that's actually, so I've gotten a little bit better with it because now I know how to write, I've gotten better with my Pine. I've gotten better with my writing indicators and strategy scripts. Have received a lot of help from that because coding is not my first area of expertise. And anybody that knows me knows that I lean heavily on the shoulders of giants to do a lot of what I do in the background here. So the problem with BitMEX testnet, though, is you've got a lot of bots being tested on there. So there's a little bit of whack-a-noodle volatility, but it's not bad, especially if you're going to test out some bots. But in my personal experience, when you're looking at a manual trading strategy, I for years I still do. I backtest my strategies on an Excel spreadsheet. So let me give you a simple trading strategy. Bollinger Bands and money flow index. When price is in the proximity of the lower Bollinger Band and MFI goes oversold, you buy. And then you develop. So let's say if that happens, I'm going to set a target from a Fibonacci retracement from the swing high to the swing low of 50%. All right. And then I'll go back in time and I will manually look at the chart and I will see every time that happened. And then I'll pull out my Excel spreadsheet and I'll write down, this is when it happened. This would have been my entry signal. And this is how successful a trade was. This is what this was. If the trade was successful, this is how I won. And then you have to incorporate. So what's your stop loss strategy? So 1 hour chart, 3x ATR is my stop loss every trade. Okay, cool. That's quantifiable. You can get quantifiable data that way. So I put it in my Excel spreadsheet. This happened, this happened, this happened, this happened. And then I'll just run that hundreds of times. It takes hours. It takes days to do this stuff, man. At least the old way. That's why Pine strategy is so much better.
It's over 9,000.
Hey, thanks so much for the sub on YouTube, New Pixel. And then I'll just see, what is the profitability of this? Is this a profitable strategy in the long term? What's my maximum drawdown over the course of a year? What's my maximum drawdown over the course of a month, a week? What's my maximum P&L for a week, a month, a year? Does this strategy only work in trending markets? Does this strategy only work in range-bound markets? Does this only work in bullish markets, bearish markets? You got to plan for all those things. That's why it pays to have multiple strategies running. So, and adopt as necessary. That's why you need that quantifiable data. So I highly recommend that. Whenever you have to have an edge in the market to want to trade, guys, you really do. So a lot of what I do on the stream is analysis. Just to give a general sense, this is how I start my day off. I get a general sense on the higher time frames. Where do I think the prices are going? Where is key horizontal support and resistance? Where is confluence with that, with our big term EMAs, with our SMAs, with volume profile? What is my momentum oscillator doing? Is it showing me any whack-a-noodle stuff? But all that's just analysis. When we actually get down into trading, how do I put this? When it actually comes down to trading for long-term directional trend-catching trades, I have not found a sufficient indicator or strategy beyond. Actually, how do I put this? Okay, so you just have to let me kind of suffice this in a better way. You have to determine what is the style of trading that you want to do. There's short-term trading, there's mid-term trading, there's long-term trading, trend-catching trading, range trading. And so what you need to do is you need to backtest. You need to develop a strategy that is quantifiable. When these conditions are met, I buy. When those conditions are met, I use these take profit targets. And here's my stop loss. So that is going to be your strategy. That's going to be your edge in the market. Now you can automate a system like that. And that's something that preferably you want to be your daily go-to. That's how I'm going to trade all the time. When it comes into what's actually going to make you wealthy, in my opinion, for trading, is going to be your own judgment. It's going to be your own judgment when it comes to trend catching trades. But not just your own judgment, but you have to have your own judgment be restricted by parameters. Okay. So when I'm looking at, okay, I caught a good price. Price seems like it's trending very strongly. Okay. Price is stalling out. what are the qualities that I need to see to tell me that this is just a short-term reversal and the underlying trend is going to continue? Am I using an ascending trend line? Am I using momentum? Am I using ATR? Am I using RSI on the weekly time frame or the daily time frame on the 3-day time frame? Your personal judgment still needs to be parameterized. You still need to have parameters for how you're judging and gauging. What are you going to do? But your skill as an analyst for measuring what is the likelihood of the market, what's the statistical probability of a trend continuing, those trades, in my opinion, are really what you're looking for. Everything else is just to keep you in the money and to keep you being profitable and having that compounding interest. But the huge deposits, the huge credits to your account are going to come from catching those they don't come around all the time, but catching those big trades, And it's hard to automate that, in my opinion. It's hard to automate that. Let's see. You're trading Tether. You guys didn't see that. All right. So watching Litecoin as a leading indicator. Yeah. Litecoin as compared to everything else seems much better on the daily chart. I'm not going to lie. Kind of range bound, or at least finding resistance and support between the 200 simple and the 200 exponential. I like to see that. So we are current resistance level at 9,400 sats. This is not actually support. This actually is. So let's go to the line chart to see that more clearly. This is horizontal support, this level right here. There we go. That's horizontal support coming in around 87, 86. Now we'll see what happens here. We'll see if this actually has follow through. Got the daily Fisher very overbought, pulling back. Let's see if we bottom above zero, or excuse me, yeah, bottom above zero, and see if this has follow through. But again, I'm not watching Litecoin. Let me. How do I gauge that? How do I put this? So just as I said earlier, I was watching the lower time frames of the alts to let me know that Bitcoin was going to mark up a little bit. But I'm watching Bitcoin to tell me what overall is going to happen in the markets. There's a couple other things that I want to talk about too. So let's get to that. So yeah, still not looking to put on any positions for LTC. Now, one of our traders is looking at an LTC long. So whatever metrics that he comes up with, that I'll follow along with. But me personally, I'm watching XBT to be a leading indicator of what's going to happen in the future, for the future of these markups. So let's go look over here. Oh, hold on. Let me finish going through the chat. Indian Vive says, when there are massive slides, stop losses don't necessarily work all the time. How do you make it work 100% of the time? Basically, many times stop losses didn't get executed on Binance. Binance's stop loss system is Mickey Mouse because it's not, OCO. One cancels the other. Binance is laughably behind what an exchange should look like. And that's why I like the BitMEX platform so much, because compared to anything else that's out there for traditional trading, BitMEX is just up there on its user interface and its features. Oh, I think that sucks the system overload. Yeah, Binance, they don't have OCO orders. You can't set stop losses and take profits simultaneously, so you have to use a third-party service like 3commas.io. Trade Dash doesn't have OCO, unfortunately. And I don't understand, like, you know, all it is that they want to keep taking money. They want to keep taking those fees, man. All right. So I would recommend using stop market features on 3 commas. I've never had any problems using that. How can you be out of the market in BitMEX? A 1x short. Or you 1x short and then buy underlying spot price. The same amount. It preserves capital. And you want to do that on the futures platform, not on the perpetual swap. Otherwise, you're going to get eaten up by fees. Funding. What do I think of people who don't like the term invest when putting money into Bitcoin? I don't know. I guess I don't really have a strong opinion about it. Basically, like, what I assume from that is that they're like being negative. Oh, like, Bitcoin's not something you invest in, blah, blah, blah. Well, you know, I think they're wrong. So I don't think that LTC is the leader who shows what Bitcoin is going to do. No, not necessarily. No, not really. I think that they moved first. They definitely marked up first and faster on higher volatility because it's easier for you to push the markets on LTC. But I think Bitcoin's going to tell me what's going to happen more long term in the future. Mark D says, double down on my ETH shorts. All cryptos slowly to zero. No, just most cryptos. Appreciate you smashing the likes, guys. Highly appreciate that, man. Huddle, huddle, huddle.
It's over 9,000!
Hey, Wolfpack. Hey, I got to give a shout out to all the subs, man. I want to make sure I didn't miss anybody. All right. Yeah, let's see. Ooh, a lot of subs today. Yeah, Kiss Dominic, Kiss Banu, Dylan Fowler, Mr. Monkeys, New Pixel, and Wolfpack 5. Hey, thanks so much for the subs on YouTube, guys. And checking the Twitch. Severin, Killican, thanks so much for the follows on Twitch, guys. Thank you so much. All right. So let's take some of these requests, guys, and look at some of these alties. Dun, 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 dun. I know, swear jar, man. Yep, we can look at BNB. Yeah, Diego. Market Wizards, yep. And New Market Wizards. Both of them. Both those books are just absolutely great. Trap short take profit was $1 shy off the low. Dumb short entry I see down, but do you think better get out from opportunity cost perspective? Yeah, I definitely do. I want to see what Bitcoin's going to do here. So if I wouldn't be putting on new positions right now. Yeah. Yeah, that's why I said, like, last night when we were coming down here, I'm like, hey, guys, don't chase a short, man. Don't chase a short right here. I was just going to bed. Like, we were right here when I was going to bed, and I'm like, hey, guys, because I saw this. You know what I mean? Like, don't chase a short, guys. Okay, so Link, BNB. Did XRP, my friend. Link, BNB, NEM, and Mana. We'll do that. Link, BNB, NEM, and Mana. Link, BNB, NEM, and Mana. Link, the good old stinky Linky. Link continuing to give no fucks about the bear market. Sorry, guys. All right, so classical perspective. You're above all your big EMAs. You pulled back down and wicked very violently down to your 55 EMA. So trend trading strategy. You're not out of the trade. You probably definitely got kicked out of it. You're coming back up into that optimum take profit target again. We're running out of metrics because we're above recent all-time highs. So all we have is these to go off of. And we see this SFP pattern right here, swing failure pattern, where we put in a high, we put in a slightly higher high. When you see a candle like that, that's scary. And I bet if we go look at the volume. So this is what you're looking for an SFP reversal pattern. You put in a high. You put in a high on high volume. You come back up. You make a high that's slightly above that high, but you're unable to close above that high. It's typically a strong reversal pattern, and it dumps with the market. Daily chart pulling back to the 55 EMA. Getting a nice bullish reaction from it. So we'll wait and see how this candle closes, because now we're back above the 21 EMA. What I'd probably do on this one right here is, if you're looking for exit, depending on where you entered again. And one thing that I've said on Link a lot, man, is don't chase parabolic movements, guys. Don't chase parabolic movements. Now, you've had this nice little dip to get in around the 55, so those Hail Mary orders down around key supports would have played out quite well for you. So what needs to hold for this bad boy right here? Let's take a look at the big picture. All right, let's actually do... Let's do a couple things. Because it starts to be difficult when you're looking at parabolic movements. No, not that. Fixed range, duh. Come on. Oh, yeah, that's what we want. Yeah. Sock it to me. I'll take it. All right, so, whoops. I'll be honest with you, man. You got to kind of be patient to see what Link's going to do here. So we've had an SFP, a big volatile movement down on big volume. See, there's that high volume right there, approaching support. High volatility movement down towards support. High volatility movement down towards support. Support held. Got that nice bullish rejection. Now, is Link going to continue to move up? Well, we got to wait, man. We got to wait. If we put in a lower high right here, I don't like to see that. Or I guess I'm not in a Link position, so it doesn't really matter to me one way or the other. But just from an analysis standpoint, if we put in a lower high, and it's impossible to tell if that's going to happen before the fact or after the fact, man. Or excuse me, before the fact, before it actually happens. But putting in a lower high after an SFP pattern doesn't look good. If that does happen, then most likely we slow walk our way back down to that 55. And then we've got key support down below 79.13. Now, as I've said, though, when you're making new all-time highs, the bias is that you're going to continue to make new all-time highs until you get really that blow-off top. Now, you get that blow-off top right here. You do get that blow-off top, but a very, very aggressive pullback, very bullish pullback, only to the 382-236 level on that movement right there. And the price just continues to move up. Price continues to move up on a little bit of falling volume. No significant blow-off top right here. So, kind of waiting for that. Waiting to see a higher low form. or waiting for price to be able to close back. Whoa, we got like 2 volume profiles. What the fuck is going on? We got like 3 of them. All right. And if we look at the volume profile, we've got a range. We got this range right here. We got this range right here of resistance. This was previous support, SFP, breakdown through resistance, high volatility movement toward 55, EMA, key level of support. Also fairly congruent with previous resistance right back here. Yeah, in that general zone. And now we've got this range in between 1374, 3050. All right, I'm drawing with a very, very wide crayon right here, but you can just see we've got consolidation at this level. So just first off, you would expect this area to act as resistance. So if the daily candle closes above, you can look at a trade, set your stop loss below this range that we just broke, and trade this thing and see how far it goes, man. That's just trend trading strategy, man. Move your stop loss up as you go. I would assume that anybody that was in this trade most likely got kicked out with a trailing stop of like 3 or 2.5 ATR on the daily. Most likely they would have got stopped out right around here. We can actually look. Yeah, so there's 2.5. 2.5 would have got you kicked out. What about 3? 3 would have got you kicked out too. You got wicked right there. Let's get rid of that visible range. Let's see here. I want to do something else here with Link, because Link's interesting, man. Link's interesting. Looking at, just looking at this through a few different lenses. Yeah, Ichimoku's still bullish. Above the cloud, the future cloud's bullish. Pulled back down to the Kijun, found beautiful support. But from a price action standpoint, I want to see if we're able to break above this range. If this range holds as resistance, which would be a confirmed kill. And then most likely for Ichimoku coming back down here to test the cloud, which has some confluence with that support level that I was just talking about, 79.13. Now, what I want to do is this. No. Yeah, that's a pity. I'm not going to be able to get the right metric that I need off of it. It's just too volatile. Yeah. Oh, there we go. Oh, why did it? There we go. So, low, next high, next low. Yeah, what did I say about pitchforks, guys? Price likes to return to the median. Price likes to return to the median, and it did so right there. And where did you bounce? 25% quartet. These are also Fibonacci channel extensions right here. So this is kind of telling you the same thing, I guess. If we get off, if we take Ichimoku off, just look at price action analysis. I like this. This pitchfork would have served you quite well. Buy, sell, buy, sell, buy, sell. Buy on the break, sell, buy. Now we'll see if we come back here and test the median. Now, traditional pitchfork strategy is going to tell you that if you reverse on the way to the pitchfork or on the way away from the median line, whichever way you reverse, if you're moving toward the median line, if you reverse, the movement the other way is more volatile than the initial movement away. So you can see here what this means is that we hit the median line and we moved back down. And this is, again, this is just chart pattern, just as traditional chart pattern strategy. Or common knowledge rules, I guess, for trading. I go over this in the pitchfork video. But we hit the median line and we pulled back, and before we hit the lower edge, we reversed violently. Typically, this means that we're going to see a movement at least twice as strong. on the way back. Now, this is all super highly speculative crystal ball stuff. I'm not going to lie. I see the absolute value in pitchforks just trading off the channels. Just trading off the channels. This would have done you quite well. So yeah, man. Like I said, we've got this key. We've got this price action resistance zone right here. Coming in right here. This kind of range that we're getting into. If we get a close over it, you can target these two quartets. See what price action does, man. It's really hard for me to tell what price is going to do when we're continuing to make new all-time highs. If we form a lower low, I get a little concerned. Most likely, we're going to come back down here to support. So that's what I can tell you. That's what I can tell you. We got resistance currently right here. If we get above this resistance, nothing really stopping you from attempting to make another all-time high. You don't know if you're going to, but you take the bet. And then pulling back, you've got support down here. You know, all I can do is say congratulations to the Link hodlers, man. Kudos, man. 4chan is super happy right now. All right, Link BNB, Mana, and Nem. Link BNB, Mana, and Nem. Link BNB, Mana, and Nem. All right, guys, I got to grab some more water. I'll be right back in about 30 seconds. Sorry again for the frequent breaks today. Be right back. Hey, you got to stay hydrated, Jasper. You got to stay hydrated, man. All right. Link, BNB. BNB. All right. Key level of support. We came back down and crashed right through. What's price doing right now on the daily chart? Getting a little bit of resistance with that Darth Maul candle wicking up like that. Again, what do we need to see? Man, it's tough. When you see a big huge volatile dump like that, you're going to see a little bit of a bounce, guys. The key factor here is what happens with this support level right here. Does this support level turn into bum, resistance? Got to close above it. And look at this parabolic move. Traditionally, when you see a parabolic move, you're going to see this. Traditionally, with a parabolic move, you're going to see this. 50% retracement, generally on all parabolic moves. And what does that parabolic move bring us down to? I don't know. Do you guys think this is a key level? Resistance, 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 breakout. Oh my God. Oh my God. I think we found the secret sauce. We found the secret sauce, ladies and gentlemen. Now, let's get some confluence. Is there confluence there? Oh, my dear Lord, look at that. There's an HVN there. Now, I don't like putting so many lines on my chart because they clutter it. It's hard to take action. Where's the big point of control? Where's the big point of consolidation, accumulation? 15,136 sats. First level of resistance before that is 6,398. Why? Because you're coming down from this point of control right here, this level of resistance right here, and you've got nothing but an LVN below you. So if BNB drops out the bottom right here, and we can also see here on the daily time frame, let's go ahead and hide drawing tools and take a look at our EMAs. I don't know why this constantly resets. There we go. Save indicator template as liquid karma. Yeah, baby. Okay. Yeah, so the only thing really holding us up right now from an EMA perspective is your 21 daily, okay? So doing a little bit of consolidation right here, a little bit of attempted rally, or, you know, it's not even a rally. You're just putting in a little bit of a brief pause to this bloodbath that was yesterday's candle. After that nice parabolic move. Now, what did we talk about the last time we talked about BNB? We had this long-term, weekly resistance level that we broke through. If you can see it more clearly on BNB USDT. Let's go look at BNB USDT. Oh, because my lines are hidden. There we go. Yeah, so BNB USDT. So you have this long-term descending weekly descending trend line right here. And then we've got this nice weekly ascending trend line. So nice dump yesterday, bringing us back down to that support level and the local point of control. So there's some nice things to see here, guys. There's some nice things to see here. But we have to remember that there's less market data on BNB. So we got to look at the old Bitcoin pairing because they didn't add tether pairs for a while. So hiding things. Let's see here. Weekly Fisher overbought, getting the weekly crossover, volatility dropping. So here's what I was talking about, guys. Nice markup, nice bullish markup. This is okay to see. This is okay to see. And then you get these two big high volatile spikes, stabs upwards on low. Volatility's going low. Volatility's going low. You're coming up to resistance. Here was weekly resistance right here. Here was horizontal weekly resistance right here. And you approached it on high volatility. Pushed back down. Pushed back down. Now the fact that we did break through that, I was doing the BNB USDT. The fact that we broke through that weekly trend line was good. So let's look for another retest of it, guys. Let's look for another retest of it. But I need to see what happens here over the next day or two. I need to see us get back above this high volume node, this previous level of support that is currently acting as resistance. So 18,082, we get a nice close above that. And then I'll look for us to make another pass through for a true breakout of that long-term. Again, you don't see it here on the weekly time frame. That actually occurred. You saw the breakout down here. You had the leading indicator for that down here. But on BNB USDT, see if we can actually get that leading push through on BNB USDT. Hopefully that makes sense. Otherwise, if this level does act as resistance, let's bring back our lines. If this level does act as resistance, now that we've broken the support, guys, then I don't see anything really stopping us from marking down all the way to 16,389. So that's the plan. Get a daily close above 18,303. It's a buy. We'll look to target previous resistance and look for that breakout again. If the daily candle just kind of stutter steps right here and just kind of moves sideways and we don't get a daily close, in fact, we get a daily close, the starts, we can look at the lower time frames and we can just see this level start to weaken and weaken and weaken and weaken. See volatility drop. Volatility drop, not a super sign of strength. I'm wrong sometimes too, guys. I'm wrong sometimes too. The markets change. You have to reevaluate. But just traditionally, when you see a nice parabolic move like that, Big blow off at the top, right there, high volume. Big reaction, move back down. So BNB BTC, looking for that daily close above 18,303, then the retest of 19,786. Otherwise, if that doesn't happen, looking at maybe picking up some at 16,398. Got confluence there with your HVN, your 55 daily exponential moving average, horizontal support. Below that level, you've got 15,136, 14,997. That's previous consolidation, previous accumulation. You got your 200s coming in right around that range. That's the 618 Fibonacci retracement and a high volume node. But I'm not going to be popping back in BNB right now. One losing altcoin trade is good enough for me. Thank you very much. Hey, Greek Business. Good to see you, man. Thanks for following us, man. The sell-off was because of the BTT token sale. You could pay in BNB. Does that change anything? No. But I think that's a good fundamental reason. Can I use base coin or can't I pass the security there? I'm not sure, man. Yeah, so the sell-off was because of the BTT token sale. Yeah, you can look at that as a fundamental reason, but that doesn't change how I approach the chart from a technical perspective. Again, fundamental events like news, this caused this was because of this and that and this. All that stuff's very subjective. And although you can take that into account for determining what your directional bias is, because you do want a fundamental basis behind any, ideally behind any trading or investment decision you make. Like, why are you long on XBT, for example? Like, what is your fundamental reason for doing that? Is it purely technical? Do you have a fundamental reason? Just like, okay, so why am I interested in looking to accumulate BTC at some point in time? For long-term holdings, rather than just what I'm doing with trading. So what am I doing with my capital that's sitting, waiting for BTC that I've allocated in my portfolio for long-term holdings? Well, so what is my fundamental reason for doing that? Well, I think Bitcoin is fundamentally valuable. I think it's going to evaluate quite highly. I think it's going to change the world. Zuhair Nakvi, hey man, thank you so much for the 100 rupees, brother. Yeah, we'll take a look at waves, man. Let me do the other requests real quick here. I saw, okay, so I said NEM and Mana, but I've had multiple people ask for PHX, and Quinn, you also asked for PHX, so let's look at Red Pulse Phoenix. So we traded Red Pulse Phoenix. Wonder if our last trade is on here. Yeah, so here was, let's delete that fib. Here was our last trade on Red Pulse Phoenix. Here was our trade on Red Pulse Phoenix. This is the breakout. This is what I like to see. You can see here, this is where I entered. This was the last trade on RPX. You've got your EMAs getting nice and tight, approaching your 55. You got all your EMAs coming in here real nicely. Price is just consolidating and having price contraction within that range. And you're approaching resistance on low volatility. You're approaching resistance on low volatility and low volume. That's what I like to see. And you see the breakout, man. You saw that absolute breakout. So I preempted that breakout. Stop loss down here below the local lows, and boom, got that nice pop. Let's see here. Would have been good for a re-enter. But I didn't take that. So RPX, I don't know what the hell that is. Okay, so that's the daily. Okay, so let's get rid of that. It's not super valid anymore. All right, so what's going on with MP? What's going on with RPX today? All right. Well, you're about to get your general bullish crossovers. You're about to get your EMA crossovers right here. You're coming out of that consolidation period right here. RPX didn't react as bearishly to the downturn as everything else. In fact, it valuated up. So you still have yet to have a daily close outside of your overall consolidation zone right here. So you still have significant resistance right here at this level right here. And that's right. Look, that's right where you're. Oh man, these things are hard to see. I'm gonna have to change the colors on that, my friends. I apologize. I guess it's not too bad for me, but for you guys, it's still really hard to see. Still really hard to see. If I change them to black. Okay, that's a little easier to see. Okay, so last kind of line of defense here, guys. So you do have your 200 simple period moving average coming in here, acting as your current resistance. All right, that's kind of where you've wicked up above that. You've wicked up above that on intraday basis. But we're looking for strong daily closes. Okay, so you do got a nice potential. You do got a nice potential breakout incoming on PHX if everything goes according to plan. Let's look at the bigger picture here, guys. So let's hide. All right. So nice ascending bottoming formation right here, and you're coming back up to that resistance level right here, as you can see. Price rallied, rejected, put in resistance right here. Oh my dear Lord, why did you do that to me? Magnet mode be gone with you. Magnet mode be gone with you. Yep. All right, now we're going to bring back volume profile and get a larger view of the charts so we can kind of plot out what's important here. Okay, we've got big resistance there. And big resistance right here. And there's support. Okay, so here's what I need to see. All right, so let's go over this in a quantifiable metric here. Pros. Nice ascending rounded bottom formation, approaching resistance on relatively low volatility, approaching resistance on relatively low volume. Without a significant change in volume or sentiment, you're unlikely to see a change in the dominant trend. Have we seen that? We have seen a change in volume, definitely. Look at the moving average. Volume has definitely picked up, indicating accumulation at the bottom. Let's get rid of volume again because it is distracting and often confusing. Value area right here, level of consolidation that you've been unable to break out of this range so far. So daily close above 269 is going to be pretty impressive. You're trading above it now. You've already gone up there a little bit and gotten faked out. So, little worried. Not super worried, but a little worried. Because I've already got punted on 2 breakouts so far. For the alties. And although things look positive, here's what I want to see. Get that nice, healthy daily close above 269. And again, we're drawing with crayons here, guys. We're drawing with crayons, not fine tip marker. You've got a short-term scalp target right here. Short-term scalp target right there at 339. Longer-term targets at 424, 536. But I don't necessarily know if the contraction was that violent enough. I don't think we've had enough price contraction to be able to hit this level, honestly. But I think we can hit 339 if everything goes according to plan. We've got that LVN coming in right there. Again, price likes to move very quickly to the LVN. And that's previous resistance right there. So definitely could see an intraday wick up to that level. So let's see what happens here if the daily is able to close above 272. And then it's probably going to be a buy. It's probably a buy right now. You've got the daily Fisher crossover actually on this candle right here. You're getting your Fisher crossover on this candle right here. Volatility is not massive, not necessarily seeing that blow off top. Let's go down to the lower time frames. Okay, lower time frames. Bull flag formation, markup, bull flag formation, kind of right at that support level right there. So you're looking for this SR flip, man. You're looking for this SR flip. Rejection, high or low. You know, it's not exactly what I want to see for a real breakout of resistance, because I prefer to see, honestly, something like I talked about with Ethereum. where you put in that nice high or low. This is like, so we're meeting qualification 1, but then we do kind of move up on higher volatility to this area. So we'll see if this level holds. So right now we're trading at 271. We're going to see if 269 holds. Let's go to the 4-hour chart. All right. 4-hour close below 269. I'm going to be out of the trade and looking to pick back up. If I was trading PHX, look to pick back up closer to the consolidation range right here. Closer to the consolidation range right there. The median zone. So we'll see if this is going to be another failed breakout. Get that daily close above, and you've got that short-term target of 339, long-term target of 424. Just be careful, man. These are altcoins, dude. High volatility. Especially if we form a lower high here. That's what I'd be keeping my eye on. Where's the daily close? You got about 4 hours and 9 minutes until the daily closes. We close above 269, take a stab at it. The daily closes below 269. If the 4-hour closes below 269 right now, I'd be out of that, man. I'm going to lean more toward I like it. But I'm not going to take it, man. I'm not going to take it. I don't like taking trades where I feel like I missed the bus. I prefer to buy in the accumulation zone. So we'll see if we get the breakout, and we'll see what follow through we get on it. Mana. Good old Decentraland. One of our favorites. All right. Net negatives. All right, so we're looking for a knife catch. Looking for a knife catch. Current resistance. Rough, man. Current support. Mm-hmm. Oh, shoot. I think I'm going to get a crappy pitchfork if I try to do it this way, but we'll try. It's not trending very strongly, but we'll give it a shot. Yeah, that's a crappy one. High, low, and then the last high. Would this one have worked out well for us? Yeah, they would have all worked out well. What about this one? Last high. Yeah, we get good reactions there. I think we get good reactions here too, though. So let's tighten this up. Yep. Come on now. Come on, baby bird. I don't want to zoom in. Boom. So when you're doing something like this, guys, just test it. Just look and see. Does it seem like this is a good predictive indicator? Does it seem like we got tradable decisions off this indicator? Does it seem like we found support right here? Does it seem like we found resistance right here? Does it seem like we found resistance right here? Does it seem like we found resistance right here? Does it seem like we found support right here? So price likes to return to the median zone. Price likes to turn to the median zone. That would be pointing us down here. Got the median zone coming in around here. We don't have the bifurcation of that with our key level of support until down here at 644 on mana, which breaks my heart because I like me some decentralized land. All right, so let's hide that and let's just look at price action, guys. Good old Decentraland. Yeah, you know, you got that daily Fisher just making the fresh cross down. No bullish divergence. Just kind of free falling. Not oversold. Yeah, the daily Fisher was oversold here, and you got a little bit of bullish divergence, but you got a very weak reaction off of it. So kind of the same thing. I mean, I understand what you're looking at. We're coming into, you know, we're kind of in a zone. We're kind of in a zone of violent rejection where price has turned around twice before pretty steep, significant markups. Something tells me that mana isn't done yet here, though. Something tells me that this is different. So the only thing that I see that I kind of like about this is a potential double bottom pattern. And yeah, the two candlesticks, I mean, they're like they're like hammer candles, but again, what I need to see is if a candle closes like this, it needs to close, and then I need to see it trade above the open of the bearish candle or the high preferably. But you've got hammer candles on these. So what would I really like to see, because I do think that I do like mana, like long term, honestly, for coins. I think it's pretty cool. I'd like to see us get back above previous resistance at 112 or 1112. 1112, then you got your upside targets of 1132 or 1332 and 1615. Return to the point of control up here. Otherwise, unless we can catch up on this level right here, just based off previous levels that we've turned around, that's really your only horizontal right there. Unless we can catch off here, then most likely a reversion to the mean, man. Point of control down here at 644, yeah. And as I said, yeah. Things to keep in mind, man. I bottom fish for mana at 888. Yeah, there you go. Yep, somewhere right around in this zone. I can respect that. Yeah, just set some Hail Mary orders, man. Set some Hail Mary orders like right here. See what happens, man. 821, 874 is what I got, but okay, waves for you, good sir. Sorry. Gotcha, my dude. I have to get that. There we go. Excellent. Fantastic. All right, parabolic move. Parabolic moves almost always have 50% retracements. Did we have a 50% retracement?
It's over 9,000.
We had a 50% retracement of a parabolic move. Reversion to the mean, point of control right here, previous resistance. All right, so now you've got current support. You've got current support. You've got more support down here in this zone right here. And, oh, come on, waves, you silly motherfucker. Fisher crossing above zero. I like that. Let's see here. Do we get any divergence? Nope, no bearish divergence. Let's see if we can get a pitchfork out of this. I don't think so. I don't think we're going to have enough data. Do this one. No, we're not going to have enough data. Not one that's going to give us something that I can use. All right, well, let's just keep it objective, man. Let's just keep it objective. 50% retracement on a parabolic movement. Nice bullish reaction after a few days of accumulation. I like it. A lot of trapped buyers in this range. But you were able to make new highs. Wave was able to make new highs. Nice parabolic movement. Now, I don't like to chase parabolic movements, which means I wouldn't be buying anywhere around here. But everybody's just super excited about waves, man. Everybody's just super excited about waves. I generally don't like to trade on the side of consensus. Now, what I do see forming here is a little bit of this stutter stepping right at the top, putting in a little bit of this double top resistance right here. It'd actually be a triple test of this area right here. So you currently have price action being governed by this level right now. So very similar to what we were looking at with PHX. Put some buy orders down here, guys. Put some buy orders down around 712, 71, 72 in this range right here, and see if they get filled, man. Because I'm not seeing this actually going to break out right now. Get this nice Darth Maul candle, this nice wick off resistance. Again, approaching resistance on high volatility. Approaching resistance on high volatility. You can see right there, big volatile candles. Now, if we get the daily close above 88.73 or just this range right here, that's kind of governing us, then you can look for you can either aggressively buy and set your stop loss down below the low of the candle that broke resistance. Excuse me. Or you can wait for the pullback. You can wait for the breakout. You can wait for the daily close. A little bit of markup. Price will generally pull back, and then this is where you're going to want to be doing your buying at this level when price breaks out. So let's look at targets. Although I'll be honest with you guys, I know I'm an altcoin hater, but this one makes me a little nervous.
It's over 9,000.
All right, so very simply, you can target your 236 or your equilibrium movement right here. Maybe even looking for a SFP. If that happens. Again, the thing to be cautious for, when you're approaching your highs, if you wick slightly above it and then the daily closes below it, that's an SFP, and most likely you need to sell because you're going to be coming down. So yeah, I need to see a daily close above 88.73 for me to want to do something on waves, or if we can get it for a cheap price. If price comes down to 71.12. If we can get it pretty cheap. If we get a daily close below 71.12, though, I'm going to be out, though. Look, we've already double tested that support twice. If we test it for a third time, I'm going to be out. Next level of support coming in around 54.78, which would be kind of congruent. Splitting the baby between the 618 and the 786 on that one. But since you have no metrics now for measuring, I'm just going to do Dow theory, man. Just going to do Dow theory. There's your moonshot target for waves, the 50% extension. Or you can do the ICT equilibrium swing right there. It's putting you all the way up there, but I'd be cautious, man. King Bitcoin has to behave for any of that wonderful, beautiful stuff to happen. All right. It's 2:03, guys. I'm sorry that I can't look at all the requests, guys, but I got a lot of stuff to do today, man. Sorry. I do try to take as many requests as possible. Got it below 54.28 sell signals. Here's the thing, my man. I hate giving recommendations for what people should do with their position, because all I can do is share the trades that I'm taking and the positions that I'm taking. But if I was holding waves, I would be looking at the chart right now and seeing a triple test of resistance after a 50% pullback on a parabolic movement. And I'd probably be looking to exit my position right around now. It seems like you're getting an opportunity to sell at potentially half of what you could make. So, all right, guys, thank you so much for bringing in the requests, man. You guys are coming in. You guys are being so active in the chat. I want to thank everybody. You guys are amazing, awesome people. Thank you so much for spending 2 hours out of your day with me. All right, so let's do the regular announcements, guys. We are going to be doing the giveaway for 1 month of access to the Kraken Cryptocurrency Premium Trading Group. That is going to take place via Gleam. So, as I explained at the beginning of the show, that's going to launch on February 1st at noon. So right when we start the show on February 1st, you'll be able to enter. It's the first thing I'll be talking about. You get points, you get entries by, subscribing on Facebook, by following on Twitch, by joining the Discord, by following us on Twitter, just all the other stuff. You get a referral link that you can share with your friends. And if they do the stuff too, like follow us on Twitch, follow us on YouTube, you get entries for that. When it's all said and done, we're going to be giving away three individuals are going to win 1 month of access to the premium trading group. Anybody can win. So if you're a current subscriber, you can enter and get some extension on your membership. And yeah, it's going to be a fun time, guys. It's going to be a fun time. I'm really looking forward to it, really looking at putting the competition on. It's going to run for 2 weeks, and at the end of 2 weeks, we're going to use the program to automatically pick a random winner. But the more entries you have, the more chances you have to win. We're also going to be doing some masternode giveaways here on the channel for a partnership coin. So looking forward to doing that as well. Also got some guests coming on the show. We're going to talk about some exciting stuff. Pretty excited about everything that's going to be happening lately, actually, guys. You guys have been fantastic and awesome as always, guys. If you are new to the channel, if this is your first time watching, make sure to hit that subscribe button and the notification bell, because I am here every day breaking down the markets and telling you what positions that I'm taking, whether I'm right or whether I'm wrong. All I can do is tell you what I do. If you would like to support the stream, please head on over to twitch.tv/Cracking Crypto. Give us a follow. Give us a subscription over there on Twitch. We highly appreciate it. Helps keep the lights on. If you would also like to support us, you can always hit up our Patreon or pick up some merch on our website, krakencryptocurrency.com/merch. Really helps keep the lights on, guys. Helps Scott not have to eat ramen. We really appreciate that, guys. Now, if you guys... sorry, here we go. Sorry, I didn't have this set up. Now, if 2019 is not working out for you any better than 2018, if the bear market has got you at a loss, if you want to learn how to identify what key levels are in the charts, how to take trades, how to spot profitable setups, how to manage your risk, how to effectively manage your money, if you want to join a community that provides support and mentorship as well, then consider joining the Kraken Cryptocurrency Premium Trading Group. You will get access to me. And all the other traders and analysts for Kraken Cryptocurrency. You'll get access to their trade signals and setups, full strategies, see their charts, see every trade that we take. You'll also get access to the hidden Discord, the members lounge, chat room, and the day trading VIP voice trading, the VIP day trading voice chat. Sorry, I say that so many times. Sometimes I slip up. You'll also get access to our webinar series designed to teach you how to be a profitable trader from scratch. You'll also get access to our database library. So you got access to all our materials, books, webinars, PDFs, seminars, courses, everything you could need to supplement your educational material. You also get access to our human curated news, one-on-one support, and a customizable trade journal, and access to our live trade tracking sheet as well, guys. And you get to talk to me. So there's that. All right, guys. You guys have been fantastic and awesome. The information is in the description down below, or you can go to premium.krakencryptocurrency.com, guys. Had a really good time with you today. Thank you so much for joining me. I'll be back here tomorrow at noon. I hope today's show has helped crack cryptocurrency for you. Of course, I'm Justin Wise with another breaking Bitcoin market update, guys. You guys take it easy, and as always, trade safely.